What's up, Pride League? Disabled Vigilantes, your commissioner, back here again. Just got back with the wife. Want to go ahead and get through some of this other stuff. Try to get through these bylaws as quickly as possible. Where did we leave off last? I want to say we left off Article 14. That sounds about right? We already talked about, death or retirement of a player. So Article 14, rookie draft. Remember, there's like a bunch of these videos. I think this is intro number 5. I want to do these in little 20-minute snippets just to try to keep it, watching hours. You can watch this at your leisure. I'll have it pinned on Discord, whatever. So rookie draft. 1, rookie draft picks will be granted to all franchises for the current and following seasons. So you got 2 sets of draft picks. You'll have your, let's say we're starting in 2019, you have your 2020 picks, because our first rookie draft will be in 2020, and then you'll have your 2021 picks, first, second, and third rounds. We'll have 3 rounds for these rookie drafts. During the inaugural season, there will not be a rookie draft. All rookies will be acquired via the league auction. So all these rookies that are coming up here and what is it, late February, early March? I don't know what the league has for the rookies yet. But whenever they're drafted, they will just be compiled into our natural Todd Gurley, Saquon Barkley, Antonio Brown, D-Hop. They'll be in those leagues. 3, tiebreaker rules apply for the rookie draft order. It'll be in accordance with the final standings, right? So it'll be inverse standings. If you got last place, you obviously get first pick. And if you want it, you get last pick in the draft. You can acquire other teams' picks wherever you want, and you can use it as capital. So you got 2 seasons, the current league year, and then the next following season, you'll have those to use for currency to maybe vie and, get other players on your roster. Make it your own, right? A, draft order determined by final standings, inverse order. Champion picks last, worst pick picks first. The draft is mandatory and will consist of 3 rounds, 12 picks each round. Oh, shit. Got to change that I'm just changing it right now in the bylaws. 14 picks each round because we just moved to a 14-team league. That's good, then I'm going over this. Roster sizes will be temporarily increased at the start of the draft and reduced 96 hours after the draft is completed. This will give you enough time to, you got at least, you could have anywhere from 0 to God knows how many rookie draft picks, right? This will be where you have to manage your team. So the most you can have on your roster is 35, including, that's, injured reserve spots, all that other stuff withstanding. Because eventually on March 1st, all your injured reserve people either need to be cut or added back to your roster. So if an owner does not wish to keep a player selected in the draft, the player can be dropped at any time except during the draft and auction. So you can't, in the middle of an auction, drop a guy. You got to wait till it's all completed. And especially during that 96-hour time, that obviously you'll be able to do it then. But after that 96 hours, all teams need to be within the standards, whether it be a minimum of 28 or a maximum of 35. The date of the rookie draft will be specified in the league calendar each year and is considered final. So it'll also be determined when the rookies get drafted. So I want to say maybe a week or so, 10 days, no more than 14 days after the actual NFL draft will the rookie draft occur. But again, I want to do some polls. There's 14 of us with all varying different schedules. We want to make it to where the most people will be available for the draft. It's mandatory, and the way we'll be doing it will be kind of simple compared to like the auction. It'll be kind of like your snake draft that everybody loves and cherishes. But it'll be on a clock, and we'll see what as we cross that bridge. We'll see what's most beneficial to our league. Let's see. 9, all first-round drafted rookies will have a contract of 3 years. So if you drafted a guy in the first round, expect that guy to be on a 3-year deal. Rookies drafted in the second and third rounds can have contracts ranging from 1 to 3 years. So we're not going to have any 4-year rookies. We're going to have from 1 to 3 years. Except during the inaugural season, all rookie salaries will be assigned as follows. First overall draft pick will have a salary of $30, regardless of who it is and what he's doing. You draft a kicker in that first round, that dude will be paid $30. Next 4 selections, pick 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That looks like the next 5 selections. There are so many errors here because of extending this, but we'll fix them as we go. So the next 5 selections will have a salary of $25. The next 4 selections, ooh man, I am fixing this on the fly. 7, 8, 9, and 10 will have a salary of $20. And then the next 4 selections, 11, 12, 13, and 14, will have a salary of $15. Glad we're doing this. Maybe fix the bylaws a little bit. All second round picks will have a salary of $10. All third round picks will have a salary of $5. This is to keep in line. Rookie starting salaries will increase every 5 years. So after the Pride year, where we get paid double the fees for winning, get paid double the prizes for winning, it'll be increased by 25%, rounded to the nearest dollar. So that the third round, second round, and all the first round, different variations, that will increase on that 5th year after the Pride year. So for the first 4 years, you can expect those prices to be the same every incremental 4 years. So you can plan ahead. Article 15, unrestricted free agent auction. Any undrafted rookies and unrestricted free agents will be available in the free agent auction. The league will hold a free agent auction every season. So this is after you've signed your guys, you had some guys leave, or you cut some players, got some cap hits, the things happen in the season, and you know there needs to be like a grand, free agent. Like every year, and there's these free agents that pop up, and as we get deeper into our league, this will become super, super important, because people are going to fall into free agency that you really just did not expect, because some teams poorly manage their money or what have you, right? Some things happen, people get injured, some people don't trust, it's all kinds of things that go into the factors of these free agents. So that's what's really, really cool about the league. The free agent auction is not mandatory. You don't have to participate. Just know that by the time the season starts, you need at least 28 on your roster. So that has to occur. If you're not within those boundaries, we'll have to make it so. So constant communication in this league is a must, and we're going to make sure that every team is competitive and doing what the construct demands. Free agent auction will be conducted on the MFL website. The free agent auction to be conducted approximately 2 weeks after the rookie draft. So after all the rookies have gotten their picks, the free agent auction will be conducted after the rookie draft. So we kind of want to have the free agent auction and the rookie draft done 2 weeks after the real draft. That's the goal, that's the approximation. But the league calendar, once it's set and in there, it'll be final. Players signed during the free agent auction may be signed to contracts ranging from 1 to 4 years. So even if a rookie falls into the free agent auction after the draft, there's only 14 times 3, right? So that's 230, whatever. My math is awful. But either way, only so many rookies can be drafted in the rookie draft. And so if you pick up a rookie outside of that, you'll be able to sign him to 1 to 4, vice just 1 to 3. Designation of all contract links shall be required within 1 week of the closure of the free agent auction. If no designation is given, players will be placed on a 1-year contract, and then you can do whatever you got to do to extend him or however you want to play that. During the auction, no players may be cut by any team during the auction. H, trading players is allowed during the auction, even newly acquired players through the auction. So if you picked up, let's just say for whatever reason, Todd Gurley got cut because he was so expensive and he fell into the free agent auction. You picked him up and you got him for, let's say, $150. And now you've got this incredible trade bait, and if the auction's still going on, you can still trade Todd to get whatever you desire. You know what I mean? So that's the beauty of it. For the inaugural season only, rookie players will be among the unrestricted free agents since there is no inaugural rookie draft. So those initial rookies that just got signed and they're in our free agent auction, you can sign those guys to 1 to 4-year deals. All rookies acquired during the inaugural season auction will receive contract salaries based on the auction results for each player and have contracts that range from 1 to 4 years. It's just reiterating what I just said. Article 16. Blind bidding waivers. It's something that we did in our redraft league. We had $100 to play with all year. That really doesn't change, except now it's a part of your salary cap. So if you go crazy in the auction and you've limited your cap room, well, in the first year we've made it to where you have to have $100 after your auction. You only have $1,000 to play with during the auction, giving you this $100 for the blind bidding waivers. So that's a safety thing. After that, the net's off. If you only have $2 to play with by the time the auction comes around, I guess you only got $2 to play with. And that'll be the money that you carry on into the season. So you have to really, really be conscientious of it. Let's go through it. 1, after the annual free agent auction is complete, all free agents are handled via the waiver process. 2, all free agents signed during the blind bidding waiver periods automatically receive 1-year contracts unless given a contract extension by March 1st. So anybody you pick up there, automatic 1 year unless you've done something to alter that. Between the end of the free agent auction and the start of week 1, free agent acquisitions can be made via blind bidding waivers periods every week as indicated in the league calendar. I want to say you got Tuesday, you got Thursday, and you got Sunday, right? Those are our big blind bidding waivers, basically to be before the games. I'm not in the calendar right now, but it's designed so that those free agents can be bid on, so they're in time for your games. 4, during the regular season, there will be 3 blind bidding waiver periods each week as defined in the league calendar. That's exactly what I was just saying. There's about 3 times that you can acquire guys and, pick them up. But everything has to go through the blind bidding waiver, and whatever you bid is exactly how much you're going to be paying them for that 1 year. Or, if you do an extension, blah, blah, blah. All those are applicable. First blind bidding waiver period starts from the kickoff of 1 p.m. Eastern Sunday games and will end Wednesday morning. So from Sunday to Wednesday, you'll be able to bid, and that will end on that Wednesday, and then the results will come out. Second blind bidder waiver period starts on that Wednesday and will end Friday morning. So you'll have that old time to bid, and then Friday morning, you'll be able to acquire guys as normal. The third blind bidding waiver period will end at noon Eastern on Sunday. So that's like an hour before kickoffs, basically. And so you'll have those guys that you'll be able to use for the Sunday games and kickoffs. Yeah, that should work. If there's any errors that y'all might see, the suggestion box open on Discord, so you can always make suggestions. We're going to develop a rules committee once we have all 14 people situated into MFL, and we can just start getting this ball rolling. Still need 2 owners, by the way. 5, from the start of week 17 football games, there will be no free agent pickups until the free agent auction draft next season. I was experiencing this in my other Dynasty league that kind of made me transfer over. My Le'Veon Bell situation, I didn't have him at all last year, and the guy was getting paid $327, eating up my salary cap. On March 1st, his salary would be going up toward the $400 range, and I don't even know what team this guy's going to be on. I cut him today. Didn't even give a shit. I was like, nope. Let's stop the bleeding here, because we hold 25% of the pool just like we do. So every 4 years they have this monster pot, and that's where the pride size pools came from. So for me personally, this is going into their 3rd year. I need to have my salary cap right just to be in the running to get those pride size pools in that 4th year. So a lot of my inspiration for turning Pride into a Dynasty league came from that league. I saw some of the things that I liked. William Eckert, who invited me to that league, said this is kind of where he envisioned Pride to be going. So yeah, we took in a lot from there, and then we tried to implement some of our pride that made our league kind of unique. We wanted to implement that and merge and then make this fantasy league our league that, you know, is the most important to us, so to speak. It's the most important to me. I can't speak for him. But let's see. 6, salaries of players acquired via blind bidding waivers will be based on the winning dollar amount. That makes sense. Franchises will use the existing salary cap to acquire free agents. So after the $1,000, they'll tack on $100 to your salary cap that you could use for blind bidding waivers. After the seasons start going, it'll be really solely depending on how much you want to spend on your team and how much you want to have available for free agents. Franchises cannot exceed salary cap while acquiring free agents. That's just not going to happen. Minimum bid for a free agent is $1. All bids are in dollar increments. So you can't just pick up on our redraft league. You could just, after the blind bidding waiver period, you could wait and see what everybody did, and then you could go in there and pick up guys for free. No longer in this Pride redraft, guys. Every free agent you pick up will cost you $1 at a minimum. So be wary and you know, spend wisely. 10, for teams that bid the same dollar value, inverse standings will determine the tiebreaker. Worst takes precedent. So if you're the worst in the league and you bid the same amount, guess what? You're going to get that over the guy that, you know, doesn't need him as bad. Final standings tiebreakers take effect. 11, unlimited amount of free agent acquisitions pending the franchise has salary cap room and roster space. Obviously, you can't pick up a 37th guy on your roster because 35 is the max. And obviously, you can't pick up a guy if you're going to be over the 1,100. So use that and try to field the best roster. Once a bid request passes the deadline, it cannot be rescinded or replaced with another bid request. If you said, man, I really want whoever Patrick Mahomes' 3rd receiver is because he's blowing up and I'll spend $30 for him, and then nobody else bids for him, you can't be like, well, I just want to bid 5. No, once that bid goes through, you're going to have to pay whatever you bid for that guy. Article 17, trading. We're close, so let's try to get through Article 17 and see where we go from here. Trading is allowed year-round, with the exception the time period between the start of the Week 11 games, because that's the trade deadline, to the completion of the Pride League Championship. So there will be no trading from the trade deadline to the championship. After the championship, all bets are off, trade away. Trading will only be allowed between teams that are paid in full for the current season or any season that requires, like if you're trading a future draft pick, you need to be paid up through the future so that you're not destroying a team that you might not possibly own. I just need the reassurance. The league needs the reassurance. Let's get it. You may trade players on injured reserve. Trades may involve players and or draft picks with owners responsible for ensuring trades do not put their teams over the roster or salary cap limits. I mean, you know, if you're trying to trade for 2 running backs and your roster's at 35 already and all you're trying to do is get 2 running backs for draft picks, you know that trade's not going to go through because it'll put you over the roster limit. You got to drop a couple guys or trade a couple guys. So just trying to be aware of your own roster requirements and then maybe the roster requirements of the person you're trying to trade with. Especially if you want that trade to go through, it needs to meet the roster requirements, the salary cap requirements. 5, trading of future draft picks requires those owners to be paid up 100% for the following year. Brief note, you got to be paid up 100% for the current year and 50% of the following year. So if you're trading the following year's picks, you got to be 100% paid up for the following year, which is easy enough. You go on League Save and you add more money. And once you've done that, I will okay the trade to be processed and we'll move forward. Or, you know, just know that you'll have to have paid, which I will be expecting. Sometimes trades take precedent. I'm not going to say, oh, no, you didn't pay. That trade can't go through. The only real stipulation on whether the trade will go through is the roster requirements and the salary cap. Those come first. The payment on League Safe, that's tertiary compared to all that other stuff that takes precedent. Just know, I mean, I don't want to be sending the Family Guy app, where's my money, man? Because I expect the money to be coming shortly after that trade has been processed. Trading all draft picks for 1 year requires the owner to be paid up 100% for the following 2 years. So if you're just going to mortgage the future for the now, you're going to have to meet that wicket. So you're going to be paid up for this year, the following year, and the year after that. So that's a pretty hefty price to pay. But if that's the way you want to manage your team, go ahead, Jerry Jones. I'm not going to stop you. Owners may not trade in the offseason until the upcoming year dues are paid. So that's a little bit in the future. If you're going to trade in the offseason, you need to be paid up at least to the normal requirements. Once traded, player contracts will copy over to the new franchise, taking on all responsibilities of that player's current contract status. The next is the timeline, and the timeline is super sketch. You know, it's fluid, but this is kind of like the bones of how we want each year to progress. And I'll go over that in the next video along with the scoring. And that should really clear up these videos. So I think I got one more video to do. We're at a little 21.5 minutes. I want to say happy football day to everybody. Sorry, Cowboys fans. Sorry, Colts fans. Actually, fuck Colts fans, regardless of the situation. We got some pretty good games about to go down. I can't wait to see the Chargers game. That should be interesting. And then the Saints and Eagles. I think this is what should have been the NFC Championship last year, but it wasn't. So I think, especially if it's in the Superdome, my predictions for those, as y'all know, y'all will figure out that I like to do predictions each week. And 14 teams, that's 7 games of predictions. Ooh. Let me go ahead and give you my predictions right now. The Saints will beat the Eagles. Not a big fan of the Saints. These Saints fans are about as pretentious as Cowboys fans here in Houston. But I think they get the dub. Eagles fans are just god-awful. I don't know what it is. You win the Super Bowl, everything comes up. I hate seeing Eagles fans. And as far as the Chargers-Pats game, you can't really go away against Bill Belichick. I have to see it to believe it. I just think they're going to be in the AFC Championship game, and the fact that I think they'll be in Arrowhead might give them a disadvantage, but I have to see it to believe it. Patriots win, Saints win. That's it. All right, well, I'll get that last video out here soon. It might be today, but I just wanted to keep them in short little chunks. Everybody have a good one. Peace.